dig into it and research it. But I got to tell you something. I think that everybody needs to look into what's going on around you, because today we're seeing more earthquakes than ever before. Record heat. I'm going to show you. Just the other day, hottest April ever. Meteorites are up. I mean, the world it seems to be going a little bit crazy from, massive troop movements, and we're on the edge of World War III again. Actually, we're already in World War III if you consider it to be a proxy war, 5 nations at war. Basically, we're already at World War III. There's so much stuff going on, and I got to tell you something. I want to just basically share with you the things that I think are fascinating, like things that I think have been hidden away. And there's something about this TED Talk that no one's really talking about right now, where this woman, you're going to see a clip where this woman starts sharing this data and explains how, let her explain it to you.
We began in 2009 with the launch of NASA's Kepler mission. Kepler's main scientific objective was to find planets outside of our solar system. It did this by staring at a single field in the sky, this one with all the tiny boxes. And in this one field, it monitored the brightness of over 150,000 stars continuously for 4 years, taking a data point every 30 minutes. It was looking for what astronomers call a transit. This is when the planet's orbit is aligned in our line of sight, just so that the planet crosses in front of a star. And when this happens, it blocks out a tiny bit of starlight, which you can see as a dip in this curve.
So you see in that clip there how the sun is there and the planet goes around and it's a little, it's right about here. And our view is Earth and we're looking there, right? And so they're collecting that data, they're collecting that light. So when that thing passes, little bit of light, then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, what? So much more light. So much more light is blocked out. And then a couple of years later, oh my goodness, she's freaking out. She's like, so much light is blocked out. We don't understand it. And she also says something like, it seems like there are things on top of things on top of things.
A few years ago, planet hunters were sifting through data looking for transits. And they spotted a mysterious signal coming from the star KIC 8462852. The observations in May of 2009 were the first they spotted, and they started talking about this in the discussion forums. They said an object like Jupiter will make a drop like this in the star's light, but they were also saying it was giant. You see, transits normally only last for a few hours, and this one lasted for almost a week. They were also saying that it looks asymmetric, meaning that instead of the clean U-shaped dip that we saw with Jupiter, it had this strange slope that you can see on the left side. This seemed to indicate that whatever was getting in the way and blocking the starlight was not circular like a planet. There are a few more dips that happened, but for a couple of years, it was pretty quiet. And then in March of 2011, we see this. The star's light drops by a whole 15%. And this is huge compared to a planet, which would only make a 1% drop. We describe this feature as both smooth and clean. It also is asymmetric, having a gradual dimming that lasts almost a week, and then it snaps right back up to normal in just a matter of days. And again, after this, not much happens. Until February of 2013, things just start to get really crazy. There is a huge complex of dips in the light curve that appear, and they last for like 100 days, all the way up into the Kepler mission's end. These dips have variable shapes. Some are very sharp and some are broad, and they also have variable durations. Some last just for a day or two and some for more than a week. And there's also up and down trends within some of these dips, almost like several independent events were superimposed on top of each other. And at this time, the star drops in its brightness over 20%. This means that whatever is blocking its light has an area of over 1,000 times the area of our planet Earth. This is truly remarkable.
How come they aren't questioning? Is there something moving towards us? Now think about that for a second. If this is Earth, and this is the sun here, and Earth's here, and then something comes around here, it's going to block out a little bit of light. But the closer it gets to Earth, Earth is here, the closer it gets, the more light that it blocks out. Now that's spooky. And the layer upon layer, I mean, look, NASA just came out and said that there's an ultra-cool dwarf star with planets that are going around it. I had this crazy dream, you know. A bunch of people brought this to my attention, you know, in coincidental fashion. So all of these things that I was never interested in somehow were brought to my attention, and then I started having dreams about it. And then I start digging into it, and it looks to me like there is something going on. Could it be that the reason that the light, more of it's being blocked out, maybe it's not some megalithic alien structure like the Dyson sphere that they're talking about. Maybe, just maybe, it starts off here, it blocks out a little bit of light, but the closer it gets to the Earth, see the Earth is over here? Closer it gets to the Earth, here's the Earth. All of a sudden, it's blocking out a lot of light because it's getting closer. Could that be the reason that we're getting more earthquakes than ever before? Could that be the reason that we're seeing more flooding, more crazy climate than ever before? Could that be the reason that we're seeing more meteorites than ever before? Is that what's going on right now? That's something that needs to be asked, because I got to tell you something. All the stuff that's being put into place around the world, I mean, everything from, I mean, we're ready for martial law. The bills that Obama just passed, it's spooky. Even the government, people in the government are saying that the Constitution's being shredded every single day. That right now, it is an executive order that, your food, your water, everything else, it belongs to the government. The president can take it, your house, and not just that, but your service.
And tonight, the vetting of the president continues as we bring you another edition of The Real Obama. Now, in this installment, we shine the spotlight on an executive order that the White House was hoping that you would never learn about. Now, the president signed the National Defense Resources Preparedness Executive Order late Friday afternoon. And since that time, now the measure has been virtually ignored by the mainstream media. Now, the order essentially gives the president of the United States absolute power over any and all American resources during both times of peace and national crisis. Now, this includes, but is not limited to, food and livestock, water, plants, energy, health resources, transportation, and construction materials, and gives the government the ability to, quote, control the general distribution of any material, including applicable services, in the civilian market. Now, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney laughed off a question about the document at today's briefing. Let's take a look.
There's been some online commentary suggesting this gives the executive branch power to allocate energy, food, water in either peacetime or wartime. And there are some conservative blogs that are pushing the notion that this suggests the White House is preparing for
What if these things are put in place and they're necessary? What if there's something that's coming? What if things are getting out of control so that they're saying, hey, look, we have to put these safeguards in place. We need to keep order because the world's going to count on us. Maybe it's nefarious, maybe it's not. But maybe there's something going on, and I think that we all need now, more than ever before, to not think about going to war with Russia, going to war with China. I think we need to come together as a world right now. We need to sit down, and we need to say no more to these greedy corporate monsters, and we need to say yes to peace, yes to love, yes to truth. Some hard times that I've been saying are coming for a long time are coming. And maybe, just maybe, those that actually turn to the Lord, and what I mean by the Lord, I mean that spirit of truth, that God, that wisdom, that creator that is in all and through all and is all. That we return to that and we humble ourselves before that, because we are finite as human beings, but we are infinite as the child of God. We're not God. Stop thinking that you're God. Maybe it's time for us all to wake up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe. Sorry if it was a little long. This is new for me. I'm just trying something new because I got to tell you, I've seen such interest, and I'm seeing the views like blossom, and I'm so grateful for it. And there are so many people that know more than me, so please check them out. I've subscribed to a lot of them. Just look them up online and do the research for yourself. But above all, take time to yourself. Go within and say, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. Show me the way. Because there is something that is in control of us all. And we're all connected to it. And we're all dialed into that frequency. It's time for us not to spell out bad things, but to spell out the truth. Witchcraft is a spirit of rebellion. I think it's time for us all to wake up from this spell that we've been under for so long. I love you all. Talk to you soon.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And it is my job, my responsibility as an astronomer to remind people that alien hypotheses should always be a last resort.
Every cowardly thing that you've done.
Now let me tell you, this was one of the hardest papers I ever wrote. Scientists are meant to publish results, and this situation was far from that.